So Aljamain reached out to Henry Cejudo to get some advice, and it leads me to believe that he's not the first guy to do this. I'm pretty sure other fighters have done this in the past, reached out privately to others just to get some help or, get some of their analysis. You already know Sean O'Malley's going to use this as ammo. Both these guys game plan to beat me, and I still won. But why would Henry reveal this? Why would he leak the DM? It's like the equivalent of, hey, can I talk to you in private about something? Oh, sure, man. You talk about something, and then next day, the guy tells the whole world what you talked about. That's so strange. The guy wanted this private, but Henry made it public on his YouTube channel. I think he also is taking this angle to try to line him up for a title shot to say, I knew exactly what Sean O'Malley was going to do. The champ reached out to me to help him beat O'Malley. Which, if I'm going to be completely honest, it wasn't too difficult to know what O'Malley was going to do in the fight. I mean, not only did Henry Cejudo predict what he was going to do, even I did on the prediction video. It wasn't that difficult to understand what O'Malley was going to do in the fight. He was going to move back. He was going to try to counter on the aggression. It's exactly what I even said on the prediction video. Just here for reference, I could play it here. O'Malley's going to be moving a lot. He's going to throw a lot of feints, put out some jabs and leg kicks here and there. Nothing too big. He will only commit when he finds the shot. Either he creates the opening, which is a lot less likely to happen than if Aljo gets aggressive. Once he gets aggressive, I think O'Malley is going to fire out that big shot, and then everything gets figured out from there. The whole story of the fight is going to happen once that exchange happens. When O'Malley is getting pressured, and he throws that big shot to knock Aljo out, how does Aljo respond? Does he evade it and get to the hips? If that happens, Aljo wins the fight. If O'Malley lands the shot, he probably wins the fight. And I'm pretty sure the fact that I knew, the fact that Henry knew, and I even saw other fans on fight night say, this is the way that O'Malley will knock him out, moving back and countering. It also leads me to believe that Aljamain kind of knew that this is what O'Malley was going to try to do. But it still worked. Even though everybody knew that Sean O'Malley was going to move backwards and try to counter Aljamain, it still happened. Which is the craziest thing about it. And the wild thing about the leaked DMs is that Aljamain even said that he has to be calm and get in carefully, which is not what he did. He came in recklessly in that second round. In the first round, he was a lot careful, trying to find his opening. In the second round, he became so reckless coming in, throwing a left hand like he's Derek Brunson, and got knocked down for it. So the DMs are public at this point. So many people have read them, and for those who didn't, this is what it says. From Aljamain, what are you expecting him to do tomorrow night? Might as well ask your opinion. Henry says he's going to counter you or move like crazy. He doesn't have the ability to stick in the center. Strength. Stick to your game plan. Push him against the cage, easy money. And you can see Aljamain hearted that comment. But I'm next. Tell Marab to get ready. Hearted that as well. And then Aljo says, I think his strength won't be there, but he'll be wary with his height and length. Just gotta be smart closing the distance and cut him off, which is what he tried to do in the first round, but didn't do it in the second. Then Henry says, defense is number one. Hands up and close defense right away. Doesn't matter how you close. Be dangerous in the beginning of one, but don't give him that. And then Henry continues the next day, giving him advice in 2 days. One more thing, don't react to his fakes. He starts his game like that. If you go away, he starts to figure out his distance. Good luck, break a nail. Aljamain hearted all of his comments. So Henry was right with a lot of things here. I wouldn't say too much about, Sean doesn't have much in the center. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he's pretty good in the center as well. With his hands up, move in with good pressure, but be careful without exposing yourself. Don't give him that, as Henry said. And even Demetrius Johnson said the same thing. When you want to close the distance on somebody, you don't expose yourself throwing a punch. You walk in behind your defense. This is what Chris Weidman did against Anderson Silva, for an example, and why he didn't get countered. And Weidman is also Aljamain Sterling's training partner, which tells me even more that Aljamain knew to do this going into the fight because his training partners also do this. One of them fought the greatest counter striker of all time and made it work against him. But Aljo didn't do this in the second round. And Aljo did react to a lot of feints, even though Henry told him not to. And again, I don't think Aljo didn't know any of this. I think he knew pretty much everything Henry told him. So what's the reason for that? Aljamain said that he tried to make it an exciting fight and paid for it.
He stayed disciplined, man. I didn't want the fight to be boring. Could have sat on the outside and just kept playing the leg kick game. But then I would have had all the criticisms of everybody else. And I was like, see, this is the difference. He stayed disciplined to his. And I kind of let, I don't want to say emotions, but I kind of let trying to be a little bit more of an exciting style for the fans play a factor. We've seen the Izzy, Yoel Romero fight. We've seen bad fights before where it's kind of like, not much happens because no one wants to make that grave mistake. I made the mistake. Sean capitalized. I paid for it.
Does that mean the boos from the first round and all the fans chanting against him, right? They were cussing him out in the first round. It was super loud. I think the audience may have got to him and forced him to be way too aggressive because as we could see, even from the leaked DMs, he knew not to do that and he still did it on fight night. And this is not the first time. Eddie Alvarez, for an example, when he fought Conor McGregor, he said that his game plan was to move to the left, kick and wrestle. But what did he do on fight night against Conor? He moved to the right and boxed, the complete opposite of his game plan. And it just shows you that the atmosphere is so different when you're fighting a star. Some guys are able to handle it pretty well, and some guys aren't. Crazy to think, a guy who's been around as long as he has, the longest reigning bantamweight champion in history, was not ready for it. But then again, Jose Aldo wasn't ready for it. Jose Aldo, the longest reigning featherweight champion, was not ready for what Conor McGregor brought into the arena, and he got reckless too. So it goes to show you that it just doesn't matter how much experience you have. It's just mentally, what can you prepare for? Because you can prepare for all the techniques, the physicality of the fight, but mentally, are you prepared to face the crowd when they're all against you? That's what seemed like messed up Aljamain Sterling in that fight. But it is wild that Aljo knew this going into the fight and got reinforced advice telling them the same thing, and it still happened to him. Mental warfare is a whole different thing, man. When you come into an arena like that and you're not ready for the crowd to be against you and you act differently, you act like you have to make the fight exciting all of a sudden, which is something Aljo doesn't do, right? That's the thing he doesn't do. He doesn't try to make fights exciting. But why this time? Why would he try to do it this time? I mean, look at all of his fights. Look at his rematch with Petr Yan. Rode him out into a decision, very close fight. Look with TJ Dillashaw. Even though TJ was hurt, Sterling still stayed disciplined, went it the right way, and didn't risk an easy win. Even against TJ with a shoulder injury. And then the Henry Cejudo fight, again, another time, he didn't throw anything too risky out there and won a very close fight. But against Sean O'Malley, he gets reckless. The guy with the least amount of experience, supposed to be the worst out of those bunch when it comes to wrestling. Very dangerous in the stand-up, very long and tall and all that stuff. But that's the guy he got reckless against. He underestimated Sean O'Malley, underestimated the effects of the crowd, and paid for it. I think the fans got to his head. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to give it a like. Make sure to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. There are a lot of people saying that they're not getting notified, and even some saying that they're getting my videos days after I publish them. So I talked to YouTube about it, and they said it's most likely either they're not hitting the bell for all notifications and or they're not updating their device. So I did check up on them with that. And also, this week, the podcast is going to come out. I'm going to try to finish it tomorrow or Thursday, but it might come out by Friday. And then the Nightmare Matchups video is going to be up on the weekend. So be on the lookout for those, and I'll see you guys in the next video.